I have some bad news, folks. I have no drink for this episode of Thomas and Friends Home Media Reviews. I know you all are devastated because over these last few weeks, we've been talking obsessively about what I have been drinking while I've been recording these videos, but tonight, I just didn't feel like I needed one. Leave your angry comments down below, but hello everyone, welcome back to Thomas and Friends Home Media Reviews. This review is on Tales from the Rails, not Tales on the Rails, not Tales from the Tracks, not even Trouble on the Tracks. We have Tales from the Rails. They really like to reuse these titles, don't they? Or at least different variations on the same title. Because this sounds very similar to Tales on the Rails, which we got over here in the United States. But we never got Tales from the Rails. This is a UK exclusive release. With all that being said, let's jump into the history section of Tales from the Rails. So Tales from the Rails hit store shelves on January 16th, 2017. Just on DVD, no VHS, no Blu-ray, no nothing, just a standard DVD release back in 2017. And Tales from the Rails was reprinted later on... Wait, what? What? That's it? That's all we got? Okay. Tales from the Rails got no reprint, apparently. After January of 2017, it was never released again. I'm sure a lot of copies were made, though, because this one you can find on eBay relatively easily. It wasn't even included in any multi-packs. It just got one release, which kind of stinks, because I really enjoyed this one. Spoiler alert for later on, but now that we're done with the history section, let's move right along to the close-up. Alrighty everyone, here's your close-up of Tales from the Rails. We have some nice high-quality poster art here, starting at the top, Tom's Friends logo, Tales from the Rails, with Harold the helicopter there, children on the bridge, Thomas and Hero puffing under the bridge, 8 tales of friendship and adventure, 2 ratings down there, G and U. I like this poster a lot. It's very nice. It's colorful and vibrant. It catches your eye. I especially like the blue case that it comes in. You guys know how much I love when DVDs are in special colored cases. That's one of my favorite things. Hit logo, Thomas and Friends logo, Tales on the Rails, Tales from the Rails, not Tales on the Rails. That's a United States release. Portrait of Thomas taken from the front. G and U, ratings down there at the bottom. Back features a blurb. Help is on hand on the island of Sodor. There's the blurb. Your episodes are listed over there. Screenshots from, I believe, is that Helping Hero, I think so? That screenshot from? And then I think that's from Diesel and the Ducklings. Oh yeah, because the Ducklings are down there. Fun fact, this is Master of the Lemon's favorite episode ever. And you can tell him I said that too. He'll tell you that it's not, but he's lying, because he told me in confidence when he was here in Louisville, Kentucky, he loves this episode, and I would never lie to you ever. Your bonus content is over here, and then here is a photo of Thomas from, I believe, one of the episodes. I haven't watched these episodes in a long time, at the time of recording this close-up, so I don't remember what episode that's from. And then your legalese and ratings and barcode and all that fun stuff down there in the little white box at the bottom. And we open this up, and your disc is a squished up version of the poster art. So this release is interesting. Not only does it feature some episodes that we never got on home media over here in the United States, but it's one I own 2 copies of. I bought Tales from the Rails on eBay like a week before Dan messaged me about sending me that whole lot of stuff, and I forgot to tell him I already had it. So I wound up with 2 copies of Tales from the Rails. Don't worry, Dan, I'm keeping the one that you sent me, but the one I bought off of eBay, that one's going to get sold to somebody else. So thank you once again, Dan, for sending me something that I already had, but to be fair, you didn't know. It's not your fault. But thank you for sending me this. It's the copy you're seeing on screen right now. All right, so that wraps up your close-up. Let's move right along to the menu tour. Alrighty, everyone, here's your menu tour for Tales from the Rails. This menu is pretty much just another version of the DVD's poster art, except we now have clips from the episodes playing up here, which look very oddly saturated. These look much more colorful than the actual episodes themselves. I'm a big fan of like highly saturated images. If you ever look at some of my photos on my Instagram that I've taken with my action figures, you know I saturate the hell out of those images because I just really love the colors to pop more. If I'm not mistaken, I think it goes through every episode on this release. We've got like Helping Hero up here, and it'll probably move on to something like Sydney Sing. There's Henry Gets the Express, I believe. So yeah, I think it goes through all the episodes on here. So we have Play All, select an episode, bonus features, or turn your subtitles on or off. We'll take a look at select an episode first. We have Helping Hero, Henry Gets the Express, Toby's New Friend, Sydney Sings, Diesel and the Ducklings, Bradford the Brake Van, Saving Time, and Very Important Sheep. A nice, healthy assortment of episodes here. And for your bonus features, we have Sing-Along Song, All You Need Are Friends, Really Useful Engines, The Earl's Quiz, Landmarks of Sodor, Guess Who, Puzzles, and the Fat Controller's Tales. Now, I believe stuff like the Earl's Quiz and Landmarks of Sodor, that stuff would play with the episodes if this was a US DVD. It just took me back to the main menu. That was very rude. I'm trying to explain something here. Since this is a UK DVD, these don't play with the episodes. They're considered bonus content. Because in the UK, for some odd reason, they have to have the intro and outro with every single episode. That is still a thing, even with the CGI series. That part of UK DVDs, I utterly dislike. I am so sorry to all the UK fans out there, but I cannot stand that. I'm kind of curious about what this Fat Controller's Tales is. Let's give it a try. Okay, so off camera, I took a look at the Fat Controller's Tales. I watched about a minute of it. It's about Steven. It's the Fat Controller explaining why Steven is cool. Again, it's another segment that would play with the episodes over here in the United States. I didn't show you any footage for it because last week with Engines to the Rescue, in all of YouTube's wisdom, it copyright claimed my video on behalf of Mattel, even though I didn't use any audio for the actual episodes. They claimed it just because of the footage that I used. It's ridiculous. I'm still trying to work out how to get the money for that video. It just, that's why I'm not showing you any footage here, and I hope to God that they don't copyright it because of this footage up here. That's also why I'm not going to be showing any footage from the actual episodes here, so we're not going to look at the episode quality because Mattel and YouTube suck. But I'll say this, the quality of the rip that I got off of Tales from the Rails, which is how I watched it for this HMR, it looks pretty good. Looks about on par as the early season 18 and 19 releases were over here in the United States. So that wraps up your menu tour. Let's go ahead and head on back and answer the 5 main questions as always. All right, so we're back from the close-up. Now it's time to answer the 5 main questions as always. Number 1, where can you pick this product up? eBay, most likely. That's where I got my first copy before Dan sent me a second copy. But yeah, I found this one relatively easily over on eBay. I saw quite a few people had these up on their pages, so that's pretty much your best bet on where you're going to find this. Unless you live in the UK, where apparently you can walk into a store and still buy Thomas content. According to the one guy a few weeks ago who said season 6 was still on store shelves. HMV, I think, is the place that the guy was talking about. You know what? I'm gonna stop saying the guy because that sounds kind of rude. The guy in question is named TV Maniac. So shout out to you, brother. You let me know that season 6 is apparently still on store shelves, and I guess other releases too. Because again, I don't live in the UK, so I have no idea. Number 2, is this product still being printed nowadays? I'm gonna say no. It was 2017. It got one release. Just not really all that likely that it's being printed nowadays at all. Although, I don't know. I could be wrong. Number 3, should you pick this product up? I had some pretty high expectations for Tales from the Rails because I remember season 20 being absolutely amazing. I don't watch Thomas religiously anymore. I watch it every now and then, and I haven't watched a lot of the season 20, 21, even season 19 stuff since it first came out a few years ago. So I had some pretty high expectations going into this because I remember, again, season 20 being absolutely fantastic and in season 19 being pretty alright. First of all, I love the remix of the Engine roll call song. It's fast, it's snippy, it gets stuck in your head, it's a catchy tune. I really like this remix of it. It will never beat the original Thomas theme, though, and it should never have been changed in the first place, but it's leaps and bounds better than the original Engine roll call song. Jumping into the episodes, I remembered nothing about Helping Hero. I'll be honest, I kind of got this confused with Henry's Hero. I thought, oh, that's the one where Duck comes back, but no, that episode's from season 17, not season 19. Helping Hero is a classic tale of, well, nobody told me about that. If someone had just told Thomas that Hero had plenty of spare parts over in the Steamworks, this entire adventure would never have happened. It's how we know Thomas doesn't take place in modern day, because someone could just send a text message to Thomas's driver, hey, quit taking Thomas all around the island trying to find parts for Hero. We got plenty of them over here at the Steamworks. It's a nice episode, though, and I love Thomas and Hero's relationship. It's really well defined. Henry gets the Express. This one was really fun. Gordon makes pulling the Express sound like working on a nuclear reactor. He's like, oh, Henry, there's so many things that you have to remember while you pull the Express. And I have no doubt that I'm sure there's a lot of skill that's involved there, but it can't be that hard. I mean, you have the schedule already predetermined. It's not like you have to guess which stations to stop at. The part that really got me, though, was Topham's reaction to Gordon staying in the shed. He sounded like a dad, basically. He's like, what? Now? Are you serious? This is also a classic morality tale of your actions have consequences, and Gordon doesn't get to pull the Express because he decided to be selfish and stay in the shed for longer than he was allowed to. And a lot of comedic things happen while he's trying to work out all of Henry's jobs. It's a very fun episode, highly entertaining. I love this episode. It's really good. Moving along, Toby's new friend. I can see why people think Philip is annoying. He does come off very strong in his personality. He's very, hello, my name's Philip. And it's like, oh, okay, calm down there, brother. All right, we're all trying to be calm here. My name's Philip. And it's like, oh, okay, we understand. To be fair, though, the voice actor does a great job with that personality. I personally think that Philip is adorable. It's a bit far-fetched to believe that Philip, of all engines, who probably sees a variety of engines throughout his daily life, I find it hard to believe that he and Toby are the same. You'd think that Philip would have met characters like Arian Burt, Norman, Paxton, or even Diesel, and realized that, oh look, they're all boxy like me. I guess they must be like me too. Maybe it's because Toby is a little bit smaller, and so is Philip, but I don't see how that would work either, because the narrator never says that Philip noticed Toby's size. It always says Philip noticed Toby's shape. So I'm like, I don't see how he could make that mistake. It's not a bad episode. That story point just kind of ruins it for me, though, but it's fine. The weakest episode on this release, though, Sydney sings. This one, my note here I think is funny. Sydney definitely has early signs of dementia, and it's rather concerning. You forgetting that stuff so quickly after it's told to you, I mean, it doesn't seem like Sydney is all there. I have no idea how Sir Topham Hatt lets him work on the railway. He's almost a danger to the entire railway. He could cause a serious accident because he could forget what he's doing. He could forget where he is. He could forget who he is. Despite that, Sydney Sings is a fun episode, and I like how naturally its conclusion feels. Plus the song's pretty catchy too. Ha ha ha. Hey, 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 a very special job for me. All the way to Brendam Docks to fetch a very special box. My closing note for this episode is, Sydney is the Thomas equivalent of Joe Biden. Sydney would definitely forget where he was if he had to walk off a stage. He would totally forget that, and he would just wander around like, where do I go? Am I the President of the United States? This next episode, aside from it being Master of the Lemon's favorite episode ever, especially for that new Diesel theme, he absolutely loves that, he told me himself. Diesel and the Ducklings isn't really a bad episode. At least I don't think it is. Showing that Diesel cares about these cute little ducklings. Oh, gooey, look at them. It shows he's got layers to his character. He's not rough and tough all the time. Hard as nails, always gruff. It doesn't make a lick of sense why Thomas has any kind of investment in this plot at all. Why is Thomas even here? I know there's a mandate in season 20. Thomas has to appear in every single episode, which is a drawback of this season as a whole. It's a drawback, really, of Thomas as a whole, because this never happened in the classic series all that much. I think, though, it would have made more sense if Duck was in the Thomas role. Swap him and Thomas, and have Duck and Diesel have a classic rivalry there, and Duck, like, taunts Diesel way more than Thomas ever would. Yeah, I know Thomas is cheeky and all that, but I don't see why he cares that much about Diesel liking ducklings. Like, Duck and Diesel, they have history, so that would make sense on why he wants to get borderline revenge, I guess, for Diesel being a total jerkwad to him in the past. Also, Diesel's insults to the other characters are really tame compared to this kind of stuff that I've heard over my 24 years of being on this planet. Those of you who went to public high school here in America, you know what I'm talking about. Some of the stuff that was uttered in those hallways, I couldn't even repeat them here. Oh, look, it's Little Lady Longfunnel. Little Lady Longfunnel. Like, ooh, that's going to make Emily really upset. Scares the boots off me. It's a fine episode, but I do like to imagine that when Thomas almost hits the duck in the later part of the episode, I like to imagine that Mama Duck told Thomas some very foul things. This next one might be my favorite on this release. I really liked Henry Gets the Express, but Bradford the Brake Van is just so good. I love Bradford as a character. A drill sergeant as a brake van is the perfect combination of characters. It also shows that rules are there to be obeyed. Of course, rules are there for a reason. However, there are some rules that you can probably get away with bending. That whole thing with Whiff's trucks? Come on, they didn't need to be washed down. They're going back to the dump. They're just going to get dirty again. Who cares if they're in proper working order or something? I mean, they were in proper working order. They just weren't clean. I mean, who cares? Bradford reminds me of a lot of people who I've worked with over at UPS that are just total sticklers for the rules. Most of these people are new hires that think that they're going to advance quicker up the corporate ladder if they are just sticklers for every single rule and regulation that UPS has on its books. I'm here to tell you right now that shit ain't gonna happen, man. I mean, I'm just saying, when there's an easier way to get something done and it doesn't hurt you or anyone else, it's not that bad, you know? Am I admitting I've broken some rules at UPS? Maybe. Once or twice. You didn't hear that from me. Bradford the Brake Van is a highly enjoyable episode, and definitely one of Season 20's greatest. Saving Time is another really funny one. Now, I remembered this one being very, very good. I remembered it being one of my favorites from Season 20, so I went into this one with some pretty high expectations, and you know what? It didn't let me down. Saving Time is a very funny episode. Spotlight on Samson? Check. Humorous tone with some really good jokes? Check. The scene on Gordon's Hill always makes me laugh because it's absurd. Look at that long train. There is no way that tiny little steam engine like Samson would be able to pull that, let alone out of the Blue Mountain Quarry, but definitely not up Gordon's Hill. It's hysterical. And then the joke at the end where he only has one car? Yeah, that's funny too. Saving Time is great. And then we end this release with a kind of middle-of-the-road episode, Very Important Sheep. Not a bad one. It's got some funny parts, but there's really not a lot of substance there. It's just Percy is taking a load of sheep, and the sheep escape, and Thomas finds them. It could have been another character besides Thomas. Could have been somebody. Could have been Edward. Hey, could have been Edward. We could have had a reference to cows, where he's like, "Oh, I've dealt with livestock before." There you go, Andrew Brenner and your past writing team. I fixed your episode for you. You could have had a classic series reference there, and all the fans would have simultaneously raised their hands in praise. Like, come on. I haven't mentioned the animation yet because it's all stupendous. This era of Thomas just looks absolutely amazing. I am so sad that Arc Productions went out of business. It hurts. It hurts me because they were so good at what they were doing here. Thomas really looked its best in CGI throughout this new era. The bonus features here are also a little lackluster. There really aren't bonus content. There really isn't any bonus content here. It's really just, hey, this is stuff that you could have seen in the actual release if you hit play all and watched it all in sequential order over here in the United States. But over in the UK, we can't do that because apparently we like to play the intro and outro for every single episode, and we can't have these little vignettes in the middle of them. So they're just bonus content here, taking the place of, I don't know, a game or something. Bonus content's okay. It just could have been better. And the quality of these episodes, like the picture quality, it looks pretty good, at least from the rip that I watched. Sorry I couldn't show you footage for this week's menu tour, but last week I got copyright claimed by Mattel, so I don't want to go through that again. I'm still fighting that dispute as we speak right now. I'm making no money off of the Engines to the Rescue HMR because Mattel and their automated system said that, nope, that's ours. I'm like, no, it's not. It's not yours. I mean, it is your content, but I'm commentating over it. It's called fair use. Whatever, hopefully that dispute gets solved soon, and we won't have to deal with this anymore. But the picture quality looks pretty good, and I have to say, Tales from the Rails was a very enjoyable time. I really, really like this release. This one might be my favorite of this revival season. I really liked Seasonal Scrapes, and up until now, that one was probably my favorite, but now these two are kind of vying for the top spot. I highly recommend Tales from the Rails. It's a great great release with great episodes on it. Number 4, where should you pick this product up? Well, if you find it on eBay, grab it there. It's usually pretty cheap. And number 5, what price should you pay? I can't remember how much exactly I paid for mine. It couldn't have been more than like $10 though. So that's about how much I'd say you should pay for it. 10 to 15. You know what? Let's do that. 10 to 15. So folks, that wraps up your home media review for Tales from the Rails. I'm feeling good right now. Feeling really good. We got some good episodes of Thomas. CGI Thomas, no less. This is great. I do have some bad news though. Next week is the final episode of this new revival season of Thomas and Friends home media reviews. I know you all are very upset about that. No, why can't you just keep doing this all the time? Well, for one thing, I'd run out of stuff to cover very quickly, and I want to keep this going as long as possible. Another thing, I got other stuff that I want to cover here on my YouTube channel. I'm already planning my Christmas mini-series, and I can't do that if I'm still doing Thomas and Friends home media reviews. Not to worry though, I can confirm right now that next year in 2024, this show will be coming back with another revival season covering more UK releases. But for now, in 2023, next week we bid farewell to Thomas and Friends home media reviews for now. And what are we going to cover next week for our big epic season finale? Apparently, I just love to torture myself, because instead of covering something good, we're covering something that is objectively bad. We're talking about the Steam Team collection next week, which includes the UK versions of Splish Splash Splosh, Thomas and the Runaway Kite, and Creaky Cranky. I am going to take the plunge here and see if the UK dub improves these episodes at all. I'm willing to bet that it doesn't. You guys know I like covering compilations for season finales, and let's be honest, I think we all know what my arrow is going to be for this, but you'll have to find out next week. Thank you all so very much for watching. I appreciate all of you. I will see you next week for the Steam Team collection. Good night, everybody.